Well, good day everyone, and welcome to my first video episode of how to mod your Ford Ranger. I'm George Novak. My website is www.george-novak.com, and today we're going to be replacing the radio and the whole bezel on my Ford Ranger. Now, as you can see, I've already done some modifications. I replaced the stock radio. I've actually put a switch in here, and the switch is for controlling your AC compressor because the Ford Ranger never had that feature. It's nice to have because I don't have to bring in outside air. I can just hit that button, turn off my compressor, and recirculate the cold air. I've got full instructions on my website on how to do that. One of the little gadgets I also put in is a couple of thermometers for inside and outside air. Unfortunately, they only read in Celsius, and it's kind of time to get rid of those too. Alpine radio, it's been a good friend of mine, but it's starting to go. It's got some weird quirks to it, and the buttons are kind of worn out. So we're going to be replacing that as well. And the big thing is this bezel. Now, I don't know if you can see here. Yeah, you probably can, but the bezel is starting to flake. Now, this is a common problem with the Ford radio bezels. Ford makes this coating that they put on top of the plastic, and after a couple of years, the plastic falls off, which is a bad thing because the bezel costs $140. So what I'm going to do is replace this entire thing, the radio, and I'm going to move this switch so it looks a little more stock, not just like I bolted it to the side of my bezel. So stay with me. This is video one. We're going to have a few other videos, and we're going to go from start to finish. Hope you enjoy it. Okay, let's start with the basics. First thing you're going to need is a really good bezel. Ford's radio bezel comes in two flavors. It's going to be silver or it's going to be black. The problem with both of them is Ford puts a coating on them to make them less reflective. After a while, and I'll show you how that looks here. There should be some right here. If you look in, that coating flakes off after a while. This is on the inside, so you can imagine how bad it was on the outside. Now what I found is with a little pressure with your fingers going back and forth and some time and a few beers, you'll be able to take the entire coating off. This is the silver version, and once you get it off, you get this really lovely shiny gray with some black streaks, almost like a marble. So I thought that was the best. Now, for those of you that want to do this, you can take off both the auxiliary and the lighter socket. They come off really easy. A lot of people paint them with them on and just tape them off, but I found you can remove them. See, all they are is this little screw-on housing on both of them. And all you got to do is take a little piece of pliers, well, that's a stupid comment. Basically, you just take your pliers, grab it, unscrew it, and then the whole unit comes right out. As a matter of fact, the auxiliary one has a little plug on it. So, piece of cake. The vents, on the other hand, are a little tougher. You've got all these little clips. They basically plug in here. You've got to slowly, with a screwdriver, just work each one of them loose so you don't break them. And then once you pop it, that comes off. So then you have this whole unit that you can work on. And that really is worth it because I'll tell you what, it's a really nice smooth finish. I thought I was going to have to paint this thing, but I really dig it the way it is. Alright? Alright, once we got our bezel all nice and cleaned up, the next thing is we got to find an adapter for the radio. The reason for that is Ford uses what they call a DIN and a half, which is a really weird size. So there's a couple of adapters on the market. The first one is the one that everybody tends to use. It's the FMK 550. Works pretty good. It's got this empty slot here that you put a CD in or something. I don't know. I've got one already. It's in the pictures of the truck. It's okay, but I never find anything to do with the empty slot. And the other problem is when you install it, you got to cut these off, and then you really got to, there's a bezel that's already included. You got to keep that because otherwise the radio bezel doesn't fit in there real well, and it's a lot of trouble. It's got these weird wings that come with it. Now the cool thing is I ordered my radio from Crutchfield. Crutchfield rocks. So what they did is they not only sent me the 550, they also sent me the 5600, which also fits the Ford Ranger. It's just a little bit different to the older styles. You can tell it's for the radios that still have the shaft. But the cool thing is you can cut these out. They're made to be cut out. And instead of the stupid slot, it actually has a cover. Now you can pop that cover out if you have an equalizer, but for me, I intend to install a button on there, so this is perfect. I'll show you how it mounts. Okay, I've got the 5600 mount in the bezel. I think it works much better. You can see it uses 4 tabs, 2 up, 2 down, to go through the bezel and mount, and then it also has all these slots going around the perimeter, basically keep it from going back and forth. I like this better than the other mount because the problem with the other mount, we'll take a look at it here, is it really just has these 6 side mounts, and that keeps the radio mount from doing this. But the problem is, because of the weight, the radio mount really wants to do this. So you can see there's nothing on the top and the bottom, just the sides. So what the radio does is it ends up kind of wobbling like that. This one looks a lot better. Plus, what I see here that I'm going to actually do is you got this big tab up in here. If you drill through that, put a screw on there, you're going to mount this thing permanently to your bezel. So that's going to eliminate any kind of problem. And the reason I want to use this bezel is nice and flat. I'll be able to use the radio bezel to mount right on top of that, give it some depth. And then I want to mount a switch right here so that I can use it for my air conditioning switch, because Rangers don't come with those. And then right about here I'm going to put an LED indicator for my alarm. Maybe another LED over here for something. Still trying to figure that out. But that's my plan. Okay. Done some cool stuff here. I've got the DIN cage, mounted it into the bezel, and I've cut the holes out of the bezel that I don't need. Yeah, I did cut myself on the DIN cage. So I actually used a little bit, you can see down in there, a little bit of double-sided tape, because there's always a little bit of wiggle in these things when you put them in. I didn't like the wiggle, so I used a little double-sided tape to kind of fill the gap. Now this is how the radio bezel is going to fit. And the little blank plate that came with this, I have installed a new button and 2 lights. These are going to function just like this when you put them in there. And once it all snaps together, it's going to look really good. There's the radio. It is a Pioneer unit. Take a look at it. Just your basic $120 Crutchfield special, but I believe it's a really superior radio. And we're going to pop all that together soon and take a look at it. Okay, we've got all our pieces back together. I wanted to put the vents back in, make sure they work good. Cigarette lighter just screws right back in, so does the power adapter. You really don't have to be afraid when you remove these things. They're a piece of cake. For those of you that are trying to sand these bezels down, don't do it with the cigarette and power adapter in there. It's much easier. They just unscrew. Okay, as you can see, we've got the DIN cage installed in the adapter. No thanks to Pioneer for sharpening the heck out of that sucker. We also have the flat panel, which I've installed my new AC switch, my new AC light, and alarm indicator light. This is the reason I don't like the empty slot, because now I have a place to put my lights. I've also got my wiring harness built. As you can see, I put it in some tubing. That just makes it a little easier for me so it doesn't bang around inside the vehicle and possibly cut a wire. One thing, if you're buying a Pioneer unit, you may want to download the instructions, because they're almost impossible to read on these really, really tiny sheets of paper that they send you. I wish they wouldn't do that as much. But we're going to put all the components together, we're going to take some more pictures, and then you guys will see the final product.